What is going on, beautiful people? Hope you're having a beautiful day, because I am having a beautiful day. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is take you guys through my top 5 back exercises. Now, this is just in my personal opinion, right? Obviously, there's a lot more than 5 exercises within the arsenal of a back workout, but for right now, this is just the top 5 if I had to choose. So before I get into the top 5, what I wanted to do is explain a few common mistakes that I generally see people make when training their back, and that generally comes down to ineffective form, right? So the back, it is a tricky group of muscles, okay? You can't see them. They're not show muscles like your chest, your abs, your biceps, all that kind of stuff. You really can't see them, so it makes it harder for you to realize or understand whether or not you're contracting the right muscle and getting a good contraction and good stretch and your form's looking right. It's much difficult. It makes it a lot harder when you can't see it. So it brings a lot into it of a mind-muscle connection, which a lot of people kind of struggle with. So that is generally a huge mistake that I see people making, and that is just ineffective form. Number 2 mistake that I see people make is not hitting the back in every area, in every retrospect, right? So the back is a big group of muscles, right? There's the rhomboids, there's the rear delt, the traps, the lower traps, the lat. The lat is absolutely massive. The rectors, there's a lot of stuff going on back there that you need to take into consideration when you're working out. And the kind of exercises that I'm gonna give you guys is gonna help target each individual part of the back. Where I see a lot of people go wrong is just doing the same thing over and over again. They'll do a row, they'll do a vertical pull down, they won't mix it up, they won't use different variations of those kind of exercises, and they don't maximize their output. They only work one part of the back, really. So before we begin, what I wanted to do is explain exactly the right way to go about training back. That is to really get a full range of motion, which means a full stretch and a full contraction, right? If you're not getting a full stretch, you're not going to be able to get a full contraction. So number 2, as I mentioned before, is variety of exercise. Where a lot of people just screw up is they just do not do different things. They do the same thing over again, build rigid patterns, and they only build in certain areas. Number 3, right, is slow it down. Slow it down, right, for the time under tension, as well as actually getting a mind-muscle connection. If you slow everything down, that's gonna help you do that. Now, I just wanted to touch on, okay, so just why you want a bigger back, right? I know it's pretty obvious. Everyone wants a bigger back. Who wouldn't want a bigger back, right? Bigger muscles, more testosterone, pick up the girls, I don't know, whatever you want big back for. However, something that I do wanna encourage you guys to train back, and specifically back for, is posture. Back is going to be very, very important for postural conditioning. So where a lot of people, considering our lifestyles are very forward, right? We're on our computers, we're reading, we're playing video games, whatever it might be that we're doing, we're hunched over like this, right? We're not like this, we're not back, playing it back here, we're down forward. As a result of that, the muscles back here get weak, the muscles here get tight and pull everything forward, and then you've got a hunchback. And no one likes a hunchback. So now that we have covered the main mistakes that I see people make, the actual effective way to train your back, and why you actually want a bigger back, let's get onto the top 5. Exercise number 1 is going to be the lat pull down machine. Now, the reason this is number 1 is because of the variation that it allows for aesthetics, right? We're talking about aesthetics here. Going to be one of the biggest components to creating that V taper, which is a huge component of aesthetics. So the reason for this is you can variate it so much. You can do close grip, you can do wide grip, you can actually change the attachment to switch up the exercise. You can do it behind the neck, forward, to the chest, to the neck. You can change it up a lot and focus different parts of the back as such. A general rule of thumb, what I usually stick to, is going shoulder width and then pulling it down and into my sides, okay? So I want to pull my elbows forward. So you internally rotate your shoulders, so your elbows are coming down, right? Instead of out. A lot of people do it out here. You want it to come down and in to your armpits. The reason is it's gonna focus more on the lower lat and the lat in general, which is gonna help create that V taper. Now the second exercise is going to be the T-bar row. Now the reason for this is I find that you can put a lot of the load into the pocket of the lat, which is just heading up into the armpit, okay? So you can put a lot of the load into there, and that is what is going to create that V taper we're all looking for. So the reason that I choose this over the traditional barbell row is because it's a closer grip. You can pinch your elbows much further back into your sides, allowing for a bigger contraction. So how I generally set up the T-bar row is I obviously load up the weight and then I get into a stance as if I was going to do a deadlift, right? But my hands are obviously within my legs, and then I'll come up and then I'll get to about a 45-degree angle with my arms hanging straight down, okay? And at that point, I'll pull my elbows in with my pinkies all the way to my belly button. That's gonna keep it at the lat. The third exercise is a very aesthetically based one, and that is to the sound of a straight arm cable pullover, right? Using a straight bar, and typically what I go with is a wider grip. Now this is going to help focus a little bit more on the lat. So if you arch your back a little bit forward with your chest more parallel to the floor, it's going to put a lot of it more into the lat. However, if you're more upright, it's going to put it to just about everywhere within the back. Depending on how you do this, what I would focus on is just focusing on your form, taking it slow, because this is a very good exercise. However, this is one that is commonly messed up. Now these pullovers can be done either with a straight bar or a rope. I typically will go with a straight bar, because what I found is if you are posing, right, opening up the lats, that's pretty much what the movement is. So when you finish the movement, you should be in a position where you've opened up your lats, and that's what you'll look like when you are doing a lat spread or that kind of stuff. Number 4 exercise is going to be a single arm exercise, and that is the dumbbell row. This is the exercise that you'll see like pretty much everyone do from the beginning of their fitness journey. Something that I did pretty much first day in the gym, and I can tell you this much, my first 1 to 2, even maybe 3 years of training, I wasn't doing it very effectively. I wasn't actually retracting my scapula. I wasn't finishing with the shoulder, nor leading with the elbow, which is something that I do encourage you guys to do. So when you row, what you want to do is, first and foremost, ensure that you're just above parallel with the floor, okay? And then make sure you stretch as far as you can down, letting your shoulder blade come down. And then when you contract, what you want to do is lead with your elbow, pulling it into your sides, and then whilst retracting your scapula and bringing your shoulder blade back, which is going to help contract the lat. And that's what you want to finish with. You don't want to overdo it with a chicken wing. You don't want your elbow to be so high, nor do you want to finish with the elbow. You need to finish with the shoulder blade. So many times, this is what I say, okay? People will be standing like this, they'll have it like this, and they'll just do this. They're using a lot of rear delt, not a lot of lat. So what you really want to do is let it come all the way and then finish with the shoulder blades. So your shoulder blade should retract, and that's going to contract the lat as opposed to this. So something to note is that these exercises are gonna hit a lot of the back in one way or another, but the way they're done is to put more of an emphasis on different parts of the back, which is gonna help you build a complete back, which is what you want. If you just have an overdeveloped lat as opposed to trap, or you have strong lats and weak traps, then it's not going to be the best kind of situation for you. So the 5th and final exercise is going to be a rack pull. Now this is pretty damn good for overall back development, but as well as erectors, right? Actually building up your spinal erectors, which is right down the bottom of the back, which is going to give you that Christmas tree. The point of this is you want to be able to retract your shoulder blades and pinch back, contracting at the back. If you're just standing up and you're using a lot of hip thrust, you're not going to be putting a lot of the emphasis within the back. The reason that we're doing a rack pull as opposed to a deadlift is because it takes a lot of the lower body out of it, right? When you set up for a deadlift, you're generally gonna have a lot of knee flexion, which is gonna put a lot of the emphasis within the quad as well. You're gonna get a lot more hamstring and glutes. So doing a rack pull kind of takes that out of it. Not 100%, but you know, a majority of it. And it's gonna put a lot more into the upper body, which is going to help build the back. So guys, that is 5 exercises to build up the back. Now, please understand that you are not limited to only 5 exercises. However, if I had to choose 5, that would be my top 5. Now, just about every back exercise that you'll see being done is kind of just a variation of those exercises, right? So it's going to be a horizontal pulling movement or a vertical pulling movement, or of course, having a straight arms and pulling them over, or a pull off the floor or a platform like a deadlift or a rack pull. So that's something to keep in mind. And the idea with back training is it's not so much how much you're lifting or what exercise you're doing, but instead how you're doing the exercise. Are you working the muscle that you want to grow, right? So if you're doing a lat pull down and you want to build the lower lats, are you doing that in a way that's going to build the lower lats? Or are you leaning a bit too far back and pulling like this, using more rear delt trap, and a bit of rhomboids, right? So that's the idea. It's all about how you do it, not so much what you do, but still take those, guys, 5 exercises for you guys to try out. Once you've tried out these exercises, come back, leave a comment, let me know exactly which one was your favorite. And if you like these videos, right, be sure to let me know because I will make more just like it. And I just want to note, if you are new here, then do subscribe because I post videos just like this one multiple times per week. I guarantee you will not regret it. So with that, I'm just gonna wrap the video up here. I hope you enjoyed watching because I enjoyed making it. I will catch you in the next one. Later.
If I could take you up in paradise like the ocean, if you would